Historians of the Attleboro area had an opportunity to remember a significant contributor to the Attleboro business community. The Historical Preservation Society held their monthly meeting at the Attleboro Area Industrial Museum last week with a presentation on the famous Balfour Company. The presentation was given by Museum Director George Shelton and is part of a celebration of the 100th year of the company's founding. In the event, Mr. Shelton explored the ins and outs of the company in addition to the life of L.G. Balfour. DoubleACS was there to cover the event, and we spoke with Mr. Shelton to find out more about the importance of the company to Attleboro's history.
Hello, I'm George Shelton, the director of the Attleboro Area Industrial Museum. The Industrial Museum was established in 1976 by local industrialists to preserve the rich industrial history of Attleboro. On January 17th, the museum presented a program to the Attleboro Historical Society on L.G. Balfour, the founder of the Balfour Company, which was probably the most important jewelry-related company in Attleboro's industrial history. This year is the centennial celebration of the founding of the Attleboro Company. It was founded in 1913 by Lloyd G. Balfour and had originally had a staff of 5 people. It was started on a shoestring with no orders whatsoever, and it grew to eventually, at its height, employ 2,500 people, to have multiple manufacturing facilities in Attleboro, in North Attleboro, in Canada, and other portions of the United States. So it became a large and important jewelry manufacturing company from its humble beginnings in Attleboro. Originally, the company's products were related to college sororities and fraternities. They produced fraternity pins and fraternity jewelry. They quickly expanded into many different areas. So they were manufacturing high school rings, which they became very famous for, but also industrial-related jewelry. They produced leather goods. They produced ceramics, specialty items, and paper products like diplomas and awards. Lloyd Balfour was a very interesting person, a man of great integrity. He was very much beloved in the city of Attleboro. His company worked very hard to be community-related. If you worked for the company, you had access to, for example, all types of team sports sponsored by the company. There was Attleboro softball, there was bowling, there was golf. There was multiple kinds of hobby-related activities that were supported by the company and even reported on. They had their own newsletter just to report on the recreational side of the company. Mr. Balfour sponsored community performances by well-known artists, and for example, he sponsored a visit by the Mormon Tabernacle Choir to perform in Attleboro, and other famous musicians were brought by the Balfour Company. He set up a foundation called the Attleboro Foundation, which supported scholarships for employees' children and also financial aid to community activities and community entities such as this museum, who has received funds from the Attleboro Foundation. L.G. Balfour was a really important force in the city for almost 100 years. The Balfour Company existed in Attleboro from 1913 to 1996. And during that span, again, he supported all kinds of community things. He was a very generous person. For example, during the Depression, he worked very hard to keep the jobs of all the people that he had. Rather than laying people off, he was willing to take less profit from the company and keep those people on as much as he possibly could. He was that kind of a person, and being the sole owner of the company, he was able to make those decisions. He had no boards to answer to, he had no investors to answer to, so that he could run the company in the way that he thought best. The Historical Society suggested that we have an evening to talk about L.G. Balfour, again, because of his importance to the city, because of the type of person that he was, and also because it is, as I said, the centennial celebration of the Attleboro Company's founding this year. The Attleboro Area Industrial Museum is a repository for a large amount of material related to the Balfour Company. We have a lot of their records, we have a lot of artifacts from the company, and during the presentation you will see many of those artifacts brought out and discussed. A lot of interesting stuff from the Attleboro Balfour Company. The museum is located at 42 Union Street. We are open on Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and we have a permanent Balfour exhibit. We have a great deal of Balfour material that's not on display, but it can be accessed through our computer records. So if anyone is interested in research into the Balfour Company or just casually coming in and looking at the interesting things in our display, they would certainly be welcome.